right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another. Actually, no, this is not another. This is the first, the one, the only, first ever weekly wire roundup. Let us hear it from the audience. Okay. All right, so what is the weekly wire roundup? Well, it is a very, very special project connected in with Starred Empire Wire. Starred Empire Wire. What is Starred Empire Wire? Starred Empire Wire is the one and the only website newsletter dedicated to startups, events, and all of the happenings for small businesses here in the Inland Empire. If you've never heard of it, it's time for you to hear of it and check it out. The Weekly Wire Roundup is going to be a weekly broadcast. Well, in the beginning, it's only going to be pre-recorded, but we will eventually get to weekly broadcasting this, hopefully. And the goal of it is to inform you about what's going on in the startup community here in the Inland Empire. What you say? There's no startup community in the Inland Empire. What you say? Startup community in the Inland Empire? Yes, startup community in the Inland Empire. You may not be aware of it. Maybe you are. We got lots of small business here in the Inland Empire, but we also have things going on for startups. And that's the reason why I wanted to launch this podcast, launch this blog, launch this weekly wire roundup. We're building it while we're flying it, actually, because there's so much that needs to go into this that it really, if I waited till it was perfect, it'll never get done. So I have soft launched this website called StarredEmpireWire.com that you need to check out because it is going to inform you about all of the best startup, all of the best events, all of the best people here in the Inland Empire. Check it out for yourself. And then hopefully if you're a startup, if you are an event holder, if you are some type of community leader here in the Inland Empire, something that contributes to a robust startup community, which maybe we'll talk about later, I want to get you on the podcast. I want to get you on to talk with you one-on-one and how you communicate. How do you actually contribute to the startup community here in the Inland Empire? There's a lot going on in Los Angeles. There's a lot going on in San Diego. But what's happening in the Inland Empire? That's what we're here for. We're here to inform you. We're going to do our utmost to inform you. And at this point, what we've been doing is releasing one article a day about things, events, happenings that are going on in the Inland Empire just to inform you. It will speed up. The pace will get greater and the content will become more. Just stay tuned. Go to StarredEmpireWire.com. You can actually go there and get on our email newsletter list, and we will inform you of all these startup events and everything that's happening in the future. And as that thing grows, we got other things that are coming. We'll be mapping out the startups here in the Inland Empire. We'll also be informing you through the one-on-one podcast as well. But I want you to plug in. I want you to get connected because there's so much happening that you don't know about. Maybe you don't know about, maybe you do. But this is going to be your one-stop shop. Enough with that. So, what is the Weekly Wire Wrap-Up? The Weekly Wire Wrap-Up is just going to be a brief 10 to 15 minute time where you can come and check out what's happening for the week here in the Inland Empire. And I plan on publishing this thing every Sunday, getting off to, a little bit of a late start here. It may be like the next day when I publish this, but I'm recording it now. We just go over certain things that have happened here in the Inland Empire and things that, new articles and new blogs that we have here on the website with regard to things that are happening here in the Inland Empire. Funding and all sorts of startup type related news. Check that out. So let's get started. Let's get rolling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking at what I'm looking at right now and you're seeing the Starred Empire Wire website, This is the logged in version of the website, but we're not too worried about that. We're going to talk about the weekly roundup. And what is it about the weekly roundup? Again, every week we're publishing 7 articles per week currently. 1 article per day. Everything about what's happening in the Inland Empire. And the first thing we wanted to announce and get out there was that there's an event coming up called the Riverside Angel Summit. You want to check this event out because this event is for all startups, entrepreneurs who have not raised an initial funding round of seed money. You can win up to $100,000 with the Riverside Angel Summit. Registration ends on the 10th. So go register at it. We wrote an article about this. We put this out in our news section, and you can go register at their website, Riverside Angel Summit 2021. It's a big event because we've never done anything like that in this region. But as I said, this region is going to continue to grow for startups, for small businesses, for anyone in the startup scene. We've already been building the community. We've got lots of resources in this region, and we'll be reporting on all of that here on Start Empire Wire. Another thing we reported on this week was Duke Realty. They have been investing in this region, and they have around three large properties, tier 1 properties here in the Inland Empire. And basically, they have opened up some new leasing space. Or they plan to have new space, a fulfillment center in Victorville coming around 2022. So you can check out the article on that. Several things within the housing market. Riverside Magnolia Flats is actually going to be developing 450 new units near the Tyler Galleria area in Riverside. It's going to be the largest new multifamily project, one of the largest new multifamily projects in the Inland Empire. So check that out. This housing cycle, basically. One other thing is that in Ontario Ranch, if you live out in that Ontario area, the Rancho area, you guys have just surpassed Irvine. You guys just surpassed Irvine Ranch as SoCal's new home hub. It's a hot spot. A lot of real estate is popping up, and that's good news because Irvine is a big center. Orange County, we all know it, but here in the Inland Empire, we got our competition coming at you, Irvine. So check that article out as well. Finally, we also mentioned Chafee because they've been in our research a lot. They've also been. We have a few articles on Chafee as well, and recently they got a 3.2 million state funding to build a welding and training facility in Fontana. So if you never heard of the Industrial Tech Learning Center or the InTech Learning Center in Fontana, you might want to look that up. And if you want to go check that out, our article about that also came out this week. We also want to mention some of the upcoming events. This week we have the Inland Empire WordPress Meetup group. I actually run that group, started it in 2012, but it's for all small business owners, anyone interested in WordPress or getting your website running and all that stuff. We're a hands-on group, and we are very user-friendly at this particular meetup. We do have 3 different meetups, but check that Inland Empire WordPress Meetup group coming up this Tuesday. Downtown Riverside at the Excite building off 10th Street is where we meet. So check it out. We also have the Idea Exchange coming up, which is a meetup for entrepreneurs, budding startup. The Idea Exchange meetup was organized initially planned, or last month was their first meetup, and it was organized by in collaboration with the City of Ontario and Fourth Sector Innovation And Carla works with the city of Ontario, so she was the one who really came up with the idea of this meetup group. We had a great turnout. The actual initial meetup that they had, and their next meetup is September the 8th. Not mentioned this week, but definitely one of the groups you want to go to is one called Techo Tuesday. It will be in a future announcement, since these announcements will come out weekly. But go on meetup.com. This is where you can RSVP. I think the Idea Exchange is on meetup.com as well as Eventbrite. So there's lots of events happening. And if you have an event, ladies and gentlemen, please email me at info@StartEmpireWire. Any event related to building the startup community and the small business community here in the Inland Empire, we want to hear from you. info@StartEmpireWire.com is where you're going to be able to reach us. So send those emails to us. Get in touch with us if you're interested in this project. We want to know if you want to be on the podcast. We're going to do the one-on-one podcast where we interview business owners, startup owners, community leaders, government leaders, everyone who's pouring into the startup community here in the Inland Empire. We want you on the podcast. We want you. We want your voice out there. And remember to connect with us, because our goal here at Start Empire Wire is to connect the best startups, the best people, and the best events here in the Inland Empire. We're all about connecting the dots in the Inland Empire. You know, you get one of those little dot puzzles. You see every dot everywhere, and it's not until you connect the dots that you get a very good picture of what's actually there. That's the same thing we believe about the Inland Empire. There's so much here for everyone that until you begin to connect the dots of everything that's out here, people will say there's nothing out there. So what we're doing and what our goal is here at Start Empire Wire is to connect those dots. Connect with us here by following us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow the blog, sign up to the email list. Follow the blog, follow us on YouTube, like all of our stuff, comment, subscribe. Well, you can't comment on the website just yet. The website, whenever we go through our hard launch, we'll let you know. Right now, we're all in soft launch. It's all beta, and we're putting out the information so that you can get this information. We don't want to stop the flow of information, even though the website is not completely ready for every little thing that we want on it. We want you to still be able to get the information. And it also pays off with the search engine. So check us out. Follow us, like us, share, comment, subscribe, everything. And we hope to see you around soon.